All right, hey everyone. Ready for a deep dive?
Always.
Awesome. So today we're going to tackle something pretty interesting.
Oh, okay.
We're looking at Gen Z and how they view the housing market.
Interesting.
Yeah, and we're basing this on a YouTube video.
Okay.
It's from Selling Toronto R.
Gotcha.
So it's very Toronto centric, but I think there's a lot here that applies
Yeah.
more broadly.
Yeah.
But the host of this YouTube channel, Pete, he's a real estate expert, and he really digs into what Gen Z is thinking when it comes to buying a house.
Mm.
And what's really surprising is that unlike like older generations, millennials or Gen X,
Right.
it seems like they're not really interested in that starter apartment phase.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
They're going straight for the detached dream,
They are.
even while a lot of them are still in university.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
It is
They're
remarkable.
really shooting for the stars.
Yeah, so they're ambitious,
That's
right?
for sure.
But are they being realistic?
Right.
I mean, we hear all the time about,
Oh, absolutely.
sky-high housing costs and all that. So
Yeah.
is this detached home goal, is it even achievable for them?
Well, I mean, that's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
A whopping 70%
Okay.
of Gen Z that were surveyed do aspire to own a detached home.
Wow.
But here's the catch, about 80% of them
Oh,
also believe that. That might be a long shot.
okay.
So, they're not completely,
Naive.
naive to the realities.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're quite aware
Okay.
of what they're facing
Oh,
economically.
So they're not naive about the market.
No,
But what about renting?
right?
Is that even a consideration for them?
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Renting seems to be almost off the table for many in Gen Z.
Okay.
They're more inclined to stay with their families longer, to save aggressively for that down payment,
Okay.
and transition directly into home ownership.
So that's a pretty big difference
Huge.
from, say, millennials who
Yeah.
a lot of times started out by renting,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So why do you think Gen Z is so hesitant to rent?
Well, there are a few things at play here.
Okay.
First, you got to remember this is the generation that's super comfortable online,
Right.
in the digital world.
Mhm.
So they've grown up exposed to, tons of information
Yeah.
online, including financial trends, market fluctuations, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, they might be picking up on those downsides of renting and seeing that homeownership is a much more stable path.
Okay.
Maybe even more lucrative. In fact, Pete,
Yeah.
the YouTube host, he even calls them technically, financially, and economically savvy.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What exactly does technically savvy even mean here?
Right.
Is it just being good with, computers and phones and all that, or is there something more to it?
I think it's got to be more than that.
Wow.
It's about being digitally fluent.
Okay.
So, knowing how to find information,
Right.
evaluate sources, and make decisions
Okay.
in the online world.
Yeah.
And for Gen Z,
Mm.
that extends to finance and real estate.
Okay.
They're using these skills
Why?
to research market trends,
Mm.
explore investments,
Okay.
understand mortgages.
So this fluency,
Yeah,
it's a major advantage
I think so.
they
Wow.
have
Yeah.
over,
Yeah.
older generations.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about a generation that's, not afraid to dive into
Right,
these
it is.
complex financial topics online.
Right.
But let's be real, even with all the, the digital savvy
Yeah.
in the world, buying a house,
Mm-hmm.
especially a detached home,
Oh, yeah.
that's a huge financial undertaking.
Massive.
They're going to need a lot of money for that. So how are they going to do that?
Well, it's going to rely on a couple things.
All right.
One, their earning potential.
Mm-hmm.
And two, let's be honest, a little help
Ah, yes.
from the bank of mom and dad.
Bank of mom and dad.
Yeah.
So how much are we talking? What
Right.
kind of family support are we looking at here?
So, based on Pete's estimates, they're looking at needing at least $100,000
Wow.
in assistance, from one side of the family,
Okay.
maybe even more
Yeah.
if both sides chip in.
That's not small change.
No,
$100,000, that's huge.
it is.
And it really highlights how challenging it is
It does,
for young people to enter the housing market,
for sure.
on their own.
Yeah, especially independently.
Right.
Yeah.
So this makes me wonder why detached homes?
Right.
Why are they so fixated on that?
It's a great question.
Is it just about, space?
Yeah.
Or is there something more to it?
It's possible that, growing up in their parents' home,
Mm-hmm.
maybe they didn't have a lot of space or
Sure.
privacy.
Right.
So maybe that fueled this desire,
Gotcha.
for a place of their own.
Mm-hmm.
A detached home
Right.
represents, independence and autonomy.
Yeah, it's like that classic image, right?
It is
The American dream.
the white picket fence.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
But in a market like Toronto, I mean,
So-
it's super expensive.
yeah.
So that dream, is it out of reach?
Yeah, I can feel that way.
Yeah.
For sure.
Do you think this might lead Gen Z to look at other places,
Potentially.
maybe more affordable cities?
Mm-hmm.
Or are they just set on Toronto no matter what?
That's what's interesting. And
Yeah.
and this is where we see Gen Z's,
Look at it.
digital fluency and financial awareness kind of come together.
Okay.
So while a lot of them might dream of owning a detached home
Yeah.
in a city like Toronto, they're also pretty pragmatic.
Okay.
They understand value,
Yeah.
and they're willing to explore other locations
Okay.
if it means getting closer to that goal of homeownership.
So they're adaptable.
I think so.
Yeah. They're open to different options.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm still curious
Mm-hmm.
about this thing with renting.
Yeah.
Why are they so against it?
Right.
Is it just a money thing?
Right.
Or is there like a deeper generational shift?
That's a great question.
Yeah, like how they view renting versus owning.
Yeah.
Is there like a stigma?
It's possible that, for them,
Sure.
renting just represents this lack of control,
Okay.
this impermanence
Yeah.
that doesn't really align
Okay.
with their desire for stability
Right.
and a long-term investment.
Yeah.
They might see owning a home as, a way to really establish roots,
Okay.
build equity,
Right.
create a legacy.
It's like they're saying, forget the fancy car. Forget the latest gadgets. I want a place of my own, a piece of the pie.
Exactly.
But isn't this putting a lot of pressure
Oh, for sure.
on them
Yeah.
at such a young age?
Yeah.
I mean, owning a house is
It's a huge
a
responsibility.
huge responsibility.
Absolutely.
Are they even ready for that?
That is the question.
Yeah, that's a big question.
A big question.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, right? Are they really ready for all that comes with owning a home?
Mhm.
It's a valid concern. I mean,
Yeah.
owning a home, it's not just about having a place to live.
Right.
It's about, mortgages, property taxes,
Yeah.
maintenance,
Yeah.
unexpected repairs, all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah, the whole 9 yards.
Exactly. It's a big commitment,
Yeah.
financially and emotionally.
And it makes you wonder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, could this focus on owning a home
Yeah.
overshadow, other important life goals? Are they going to put off, traveling
Yeah.
or further education
Mm-hmm.
or even starting a family
Yeah. Yeah.
to reach this milestone of owning a house?
It's a balancing act for sure, and it's
Yeah.
something to consider.
Right.
If owning a home becomes the be all end all,
Mm-hmm.
it could lead to tunnel vision, Right. where other aspirations get pushed to the side.
So like putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears for a second.
Okay.
You mentioned earlier
Yeah.
that some Gen Zers, they already own property.
They do.
How is that even possible?
Well, remember that statistic we talked about?
Mm-hmm.
11% of Gen Z already own property.
Yeah.
Now, while some of them might be doing this through hard work,
Oh.
savvy investments, being really good with their money,
Mm-hmm.
it's highly likely that a big chunk of that group is benefiting from, you guessed it,
The bank of mom and dad.
the bank of mom and dad.
Right.
Uh,
Exactly.
yeah.
So family support.
Yeah.
Is a big factor.
Huge factor.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it also suggests that Gen Z isn't shying away
Mm-hmm.
from other investment opportunities.
No, they're not.
They're familiar with stocks, cryptocurrency, even NFTs.
Right.
Are they seeing real estate as just another way
I think so.
to diversify their portfolio?
Yeah, I think they are.
Mhm.
And this early exposure to all these different investment options, I mean, that's a game changer.
Right.
They're not just thinking about saving for a down payment.
Yeah.
They're thinking about building wealth
Right.
in a much broader sense.
Yeah.
They're comfortable with risk.
Mhm.
They understand diversification.
Yeah.
And they're willing to explore, unconventional paths.
It's like they're approaching personal finance,
Yeah,
like with an entrepreneurial mindset.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how do you think this early financial awareness
Right.
will play out, long term?
Hmm.
Will it lead to greater financial stability?
Right.
Or could it also increase, the wealth gap
Oh, absolutely.
between those who have family support and those who don't?
It's it's a great question, and it has the potential to be both.
Okay.
A blessing and a curse.
Right.
On the one hand,
Yeah.
this financial literacy,
Yeah.
it could really empower Gen Z
Mhm.
to build wealth,
Right.
achieve their goals,
Right.
create a more secure future for themselves.
Okay.
But on the other hand,
Yeah.
it could make existing inequalities
Right.
even worse.
Yeah.
If home ownership becomes more and more reliant on family wealth,
Mhm.
it could leave those without that kind of support
Yeah.
at a huge disadvantage.
So it's a double-edged sword.
It is.
Right. It's great that they're thinking about their finances
For sure.
early on.
Yeah, but we also have to be mindful of the downsides.
Absolutely.
And now let's go back to Pete's prediction
Yeah.
that Gen Z's demand
Mm-hmm.
is going to drive up housing prices.
Right.
If that's the case,
Yeah.
where do millennials and Gen X
Right.
fit into all of this?
Right. Where do they fit in?
Are they just being priced out
Yeah, that's a valid concern.
of the market?
As Gen Z enters, their prime earning years,
Right.
their purchasing power increases.
Right.
It's likely to put more pressure
Yeah.
on the market, which
Yeah.
is already so competitive.
Super competitive.
And this could create a ripple effect,
Okay.
making it harder for older generations to enter the market or even move up,
Right. So it's like a potential generational clash.
potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what about the impact on the real estate landscape
Oh, that's interesting.
itself?
Yeah.
How do you think Gen Z's preferences will shape, the types of homes being built,
Right.
the neighborhoods they choose,
Yeah.
even the way cities are designed?
That's where things get really fascinating.
Oh, okay.
If this desire for detached homes
Yeah.
continues,
Mm-hmm.
it could lead to like a surge in demand
Right.
for suburban or even rural properties.
Interesting.
We might see developers
Yeah.
shifting their focus away from those,
Mm.
high density urban developments
Right.
and towards more spacious,
Oh.
family-friendly communities on the outskirts of cities.
So a potential like suburban revival.
Maybe.
Interesting. But
Yeah.
but wouldn't that also contribute to urban sprawl
It could.
and potentially impact the environment?
That's a crucial point.
Yeah.
The environmental impact of Gen Z's housing choices. I mean, we can't ignore that.
Right.
If they're focused on detached homes, it
Yeah.
could lead to, more reliance on cars,
Right.
longer commutes, bigger carbon footprint.
Right. So it's about finding that balance.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Between meeting their aspirations
Yeah.
and promoting, responsible development.
Sustainable development. Yeah. Yeah.
Now you mentioned that their desire for detached homes
Right.
might come from their experiences growing up
Yeah.
in their parents' houses.
Yeah. Potentially.
But is that a fair assumption?
You're right to challenge that.
Yeah.
Gen Z is not a monolith.
Right.
While some of them might want the space and privacy of a detached home,
Okay.
others might prioritize, being able to walk places,
Okay.
being close to amenities,
Yeah.
or even a sense of community
Yeah.
that they find in urban environments.
So their preferences are shaped by a lot of things.
Tons of things.
Right.
Where they grew up, their background, their values, their career aspirations, and of course, their finances.
So it's a complex tapestry
It is.
of influences.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder,
Mm.
beyond the practical considerations
Yeah.
like affordability and location,
Mhm.
what are the deeper things, the
Yeah.
values and aspirations
Yeah.
that are driving Gen Z's housing choices?
Right.
What does home really mean to them?
That's a big question.
Yeah.
It goes beyond just bricks and mortar. Home represents, belonging, security, identity.
Right.
And for Gen Z, who've grown up in a world of constant change,
Right.
uncertainty,
Mm-hmm.
home might represent a haven, a
Okay,
place of stability,
Yeah.
control in a world that often feels